Divisibility rules are rules that can help us tell whether two numbers can be divided without there being any remainder left over. So when something is divisible, it can be divided and go in evenly with just a whole number answer. And divisibility rules are going to be very helpful for us when it comes to doing problems with fractions, when we're putting fractions in simplest form or when we are looking at prime factorization. So there are a couple of rules in divisibility, these first three rules that I have on this page, that are somewhat familiar to people. Okay, a number is divisible by 2 if that number is even. So if you look at all the numbers we have here, all of these numbers are even, so all of these numbers would be divisible by 2. A second divisibility rule that we have is for 5s. A number is going to be divisible by 5 if the number ends in either a 5 or a 0. So all we need to do to tell is look at the last digit. If the last digit of the number is either a 5 or a 0, then those numbers are going to be divisible by 5. And finally, the last rule that we have that's pretty common is a number is divisible by 10 if it ends in a 0. So again, like your rule for 5, all you do is look at the last digit, but this time it has to be a 0 for the number to be divisible by 10. Now there are three other rules that we use commonly. One is if a number is divisible by 3. Now the rule for if a number is divisible by 3 is that the sum of its digits has to be divisible by 3. So what that means is you take a number and you add up its digits. So 51, if I do 5 plus 1, I get an answer of 6. If the sum you get, the 6, is divisible by 3, then the whole number is divisible by 3. So 6 is divisible by 3, so 51 is divisible by 3. Okay, let's try this next one. 43, if I do 4 plus 3, that gives me 7. Well, 7 is not divisible by 3, which means 43 is not divisible by 3. Okay, try this one. 120, so I do 1 plus 2 plus 0. 1 plus 2 plus 0 is 3. 3 is divisible by 3, so 120 is divisible by 3. And then finally, 37. If I do 3 plus 7, that gives me 10. 10 is not divisible by 3, though 37 is not divisible by 3. The rules for 3 and 9 are very similar. The rule for 9 is a number is divisible by 9 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 9. So it's the same kind of idea where you're going to take these two digits, 5 plus 4, and as long as this number, this sum, is divisible by 9, then the whole number would be divisible by 9. So let's test out this next one, 65. 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 is not divisible by 9, so neither is 65. Okay, let's try 162. So 1 plus 6 plus 2. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 2 is 9. 9 is divisible by 9, so that is divisible by 9. And then finally 118, 1 plus 8 gives me 10. 10 is not divisible by 9, and neither is 118. So the last divisibility rule that we talk about is numbers are divisible by 6. And a number is divisible by 6 if the number is divisible by 2 and 3. So what that means to be divisible by 2 and 3, it means that the number has to be even, and it means the sum of its digits has to be divisible by 3. In order to be divisible by 6, both of these things have to happen. So if I look at these numbers up here, and I want to say, okay, which of these numbers is divisible by 6, right away I can say, okay, well, it's not 27, because 27 was not even. And if it's not even, that means it's not divisible by 2. Okay? So that leaves us with some other choices here. All three of these numbers are even, so that's our divisible by 2 part. Now we just have to check and see if they're divisible by 3. So 24, if I do 2 plus 4, that gives me 6. 6 is divisible by 3, so that would mean 24 is divisible by 6. Let's look at 34. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 is not divisible by 3, so 34 is not divisible by 3. So even though it's even, it's not going to be divisible by 6 because it's not divisible by 3. Okay, it has to be divisible by both 2 and 3. So this is divisible by 2 because it's even. Let's add these up. 1 plus 1 plus 4 gives me 6. Again, 6 is divisible by 3. So we know that this is going to be divisible by 2 and divisible by 3, which means it's also divisible by 6.